Hey out there, it's David Miller. I'm a Phoenix, Arizona multimedia artist, photographer, animator, video maker, educator. Want to talk to you about where I get a lot of my ideas from. One thing that ties all of these pictures together is that they have an idea. They have a concept. Maybe I had that concept ahead of time before I did the shoot. Maybe it was something that came up in the studio, but they all had a concept. When there's a concept, that's an idea that communicates to other people beyond who the person is in the photograph. So that's incredibly important to me. So I'm gonna break these images down. The first I'm gonna show you is one called Glass Olive and Key. This one I made in 2011 with art model Glass Olive. And this is one where the concept actually came from the model, not me. And it wasn't a concept that we decided on ahead of time, but rather inspiration of an object that we found in the studio. And in this case, it was an antique key. This was a studio in Los Angeles that had a lot of bric-a-brac, kind of Tim Burton-y type of things. The idea that Glass Olive had was that this key could be placed on her tongue in a similar fashion that the other mother in the Neil Gaiman written Leica animated film Coraline has a scene where the villain, the other mother, places a key directly on her tongue. And here's an illustration by one of Glass Olive's and my mutual heroes, Dave McKean, of that very same scene. This is something that nobody else has ever connected to Coraline. And I think the reason why is because in the film, it happens so fast that the key gets tossed on her tongue, down her throat, that you don't even register it as a strong visual, but it's something that Glass Olive picked up on. Obviously, it's Leica's a huge influence on me, and Neil Gaiman's one of my favorite writers, Dave McKean, my favorite artist. This is something that I kind of wish that I thought of, but it was good that I was with a model who thought in a similar fashion to me, that we came up with this mutual concept. Another image that was from way back in 2011, this particular image of model Lux Lachelle, and the video was The Devil You Know by Jesus Jones, directed by Zana from 1993. Jesus Jones was a band I grew up worshiping. I worshipped all of these British bands that incorporated dance music and rock and roll, but Jesus Jones was kind of special to me. And this video was the epitome of that coolness for me. All the colors. It's from an album called Perverse, which had this amazing artwork of a Mexican wrestler. And what can I tell you? It's what hit me in 1993. I would have been 16 years old, and that's when a lot of things make the largest impression on you. Just having a variety of paint poured on a person was a cool idea, but I also got a bunch of bubble machines from, I believe, Walmart clearance at the time. We hit her with the bubble machines, we dropped the paint on her, she had kind of a vinyl outfit, and then I think the last bit of the equation was using these colorful, transparent shower curtains that I also got from Walmart. So there was color in 3 different directions. It wasn't just a matter of the paint being thrown on the model. This image with Haley J is not one that I had ahead of time, but we were in a studio that was also a children's playhouse kind of place. And the thing that I noticed in it is that there was a huge variety of hats, and it made me think of a children's book that I never really liked. It was about hats, and more hats. And honestly, it was an idea I didn't even want to do. I mentioned it to the model, then I'm like, oh, this is stupid. I don't even like the book. And she is such a helpful person. She's like, you know what? Any idea is a good idea. You might as well try it. We're already here. Only take a second. She piled the hats on, hid behind the curtain. I think it's one of the better images I took of Haley, and it's one that I keep going back to because it's just odd. I have images where the makeup was inspired by a trip I took. So this particular image of Glass Olive with the combs was actually based off of something I saw in a department store window in London. I saw a mannequin with a number of combs piled on and did not take a photo, but described it to Glass Olive. This is what we came up with. I have this kind of cracked antique look with mythological type hair on this model Annie Montgomery because I had recently been to Greece and saw a bunch of the classic Greek sculpture in a museum. Was really inspired by that. I have this set with Kelly Eden using a bunch of Legos because honestly, my son and daughter had a lot of Legos at the time. And I was sitting around staring at them, staring at how colorful they were, especially the Legos Friends sets, the pink in them, and decided to make some objects to go with Kelly Eden, who normally has pink hair. But it was good that I was with a model who thought in a similar fashion to me, that we came up with this mutual concept. This image with model Cheyenne was actually based on a music video, and a music video that had a very dissimilar feel to what we made. That music video is U2's Mysterious Ways, directed by Stéphane Sednouy, one of my favorite photographers, videographers from the 90s. Worked with U2, worked with Bjork, still has amazing work on his Instagram, big fan of his stuff. But there's a particular image with a belly dancer and the moon hanging in the background. And I've always been a fan of kind of antique maps, antique drawings of celestial bodies. It always amazes me what they were able to come up with in the era before they were able to send satellites and people to the moon and that sort of thing, and find out what was really going on up there. So utilize this antique drawing of the moon, took it from just a Google search for royalty-free antique moon, planet drawings, used a digital projector on the back of this fabric-y material that I found in the studio, and then the rest of the lights are a combination of gel lighting and these little fiery lights that I got from Home Depot after Christmas. I think I paid $5 each for those particular lights. Put it all together, came up with something that doesn't quite match what the Mysterious Ways video has, but that's important to me to not match it exactly. When you have inspiration in anything, it needs to be a jumping off point. It cannot be a complete aping of the original idea. Otherwise, I don't think there's a point to it. I really think we just get inspiration so we can create something new. And one of the things that helps is when you have two ideas and stick them together. Or you get inspiration from things that are not the same as the original source material. It's very important to me that we think about our photography not in terms of it being just photographs, but in the continuum of art, illustration, fashion design, sculpture, filmmaking, motion graphics, graphic design, comics, and zines. I hope you'll take that into consideration if you are a photographer or another kind of artist looking to incorporate photography into what you do. Just because it involves technology, just because it involves a camera, does not mean it's locked into that entire thought space of photographs must be based on other photographs. I think your work will be a lot better for it if you give it a try.